kind of need the problem to find a new opportunity, a new path, a new revenue stream, a new product, a new this, a new that. If we didn't have problems, we wouldn't progress.
So let's take it all back to the start. I've known you for such a long time, and for me, you are such a standout woman with an incredibly powerful story. And I really feel throughout the years you've owned that, and you have matured into this incredible woman with a global outlook. But it really started when all the eyes were on you through your Subi years, through General Pants, and now obviously P.E Nation, which is just going from strength to strength. So for me, you're a woman who's not afraid of change, and change is something to be embraced. But most importantly, when you change, you have to step outside of your comfort zone to step into your power zone, and you really live life to the beat of your own drum. How do you do it? How do you hold it all together?
I don't know. I think it's more, I think if I look at that question and, you know, at the time when you answer a question like that, it's actually more about learning about yourself, and that's how you hold it together. I think, you know, if I think back to my first transition of, you know, leaving actually PricewaterhouseCoopers and going to Subi, that was a massive jump outside of my box, but I was following that path of authenticity. And each jump, each change that I've made has further drilled into who I am. So now I come out the other end as P.E Nation, and I am fully fledged myself. Do you know what I mean?
And it clearly suits you, because when you take it back to your accounting days, obviously you would have walked into, you know, that office space in a corporate suit and, you know, maybe a little briefcase, who knows? It seems such the opposite.
I was, you know, academic achievements were really big on my parents' checklist. So I definitely was living through a part of their dream or their destiny. So I ticked that box, and then joining PricewaterhouseCoopers, you know, at the time I'm super disciplined and I quite like academic achievement. So that's quite in line with my brain. But my expression is very loud and flamboyant and gregarious, and I think putting myself into a corporate sphere was quite interesting, because I'd still always have a fluoro orange suit, or I'd express myself through my hair. So there was always something that was a little out of kilter with that. But you could clearly see from that, even that early on, that fashion was ingrained in me. So yeah, and then like each step has kind of further amplified what makes me tick.
So when you made that first switch from corporate into creative, what did that sense of freedom feel like?
It was actually scary, because I think I was just conditioned to be on an academic journey, a career in finance, economics, and that was kind of handed down from my parents. So when I finally kind of got brave enough to follow my passion, it was really scary, because I wasn't trained in fashion. I had no formal, you know, skill set there. I did work retail though, so I was quite across the whole, you know, front-facing consumer side of things. And it was scary, but what I knew was I felt something and I believed in something. And the boys at Subi, you know, hired me for some reason. And I was able to flourish. I was able to find out more about what I loved, what I knew. And that was exciting. The one thing I did have though was that in my spare time, I was so well researched in fashion, even though it was not my skill set. I used to look at back catalogs and understand all the genres, and you know, knew all the designers, and was just really up to speed with what was happening there, because I loved it so much.
When you look back and you say, right, I did corporate, then I worked for a couple of really cool fashion brands, what gave you the self-belief and the knowing inside to know that you could do it for yourself and start P.E Nation?
when you are totally in alignment with who you are and how you feel, you're unstoppable, and that alignment, that gut instinct kicks in, and you go for it. And there are some defining moments in life where you take that leap, but you feel it, and I think that's what keeps you going, despite the noise, despite the judgments, despite that you're not enough, you can't do it. The other driving force behind that too is responsibility, and like when you have children, that having a child that you have to care for also then kicks in everything else into overdrive, and you hit that survival instinct, and that time where you can align your passion and your love and your survival instinct and your responsibility all in one, and then suddenly this magic happens where you're like, I'm fucking doing this, oh my god, this is actually happening, and it feels easy.
So I want to dig a little deeper now, because there is another side to you, Miss Pip Edwards, which a lot of people, I think when we talk about judgment, they judge. You and I were a single mum for a long, long time. And so many people, here's Tory launching another global brand and jetting around the world and attending these great parties. Wow, that all looks good. But we all know it's tough behind the scenes. Now, you've been a single mum for how many years now?
Well, Justice is nearly 15. Yeah, so, obviously had a few relationships along the way, but the reality is you're always a single mum in that sense for me. It's my responsibility. He's my baby. I have to take care of him. I put him first because that's just what you do.
It's tough when you're running a global business. And I remember with Torstar, at one point I had 2 assistants. One that was helping me run my business, but the second one that was just helping me run my daughter's schedule.
I have parents that help with the admin on that side, and obviously you have a staff to help with the admin on the other side, but it doesn't dissipate the pressure or the challenge or the fact that you're required to be in 5 places at the same time, or everything's urgent and everything needs your attention, and then there's no time to breathe. Where's my time? Yeah.
So
it's
when you talk about the juggle, because that's such a great ball, that's such a great insight, because my husband says to me now, Tory, what's a glass ball? And at first I was like, what do you mean, what's a glass ball? And he said, what's the most urgent thing if you drop a ball and it shatters? What's the one that you have to catch? What would yours be?
It would have to be my son, because if I don't catch that, everything unravels. So as long as he's okay, he's happy, he's healthy, he's sorted, he's got a structure around him that he's safe with, I can come and go, tap in and out. He understands. I've taken him on the journey though. Like, I work a lot, I work long hours, I work hard. He sees that. He knows why, and he sees the results, and he knows that I do it on my own. So I'm super vocal and communicate about that, which I don't know, some people probably disagree, but he's very well aware of everything that goes on. And I like that, because now he's 15 and there's no questions, there's nothing. He understands if I have to go, if I have to do this, if something's a priority, he gets it. But as long as he knows he's loved, then that's fine. So if he's fine, I can now go off and deal with a million other things, and I'm okay. I'm not worried about that. I think that's the biggest thing for a mum, is like, you're always worried. You're always worried where you're not. You're always worried what you're not doing for your children. And especially when you're a single mum, especially when, not that you compare, but there are other mums, they're able to do the drop off and pick up. They're able to be at school. They're able to do all those things. I'm not able to be there. And how does that make him feel? How does that make me feel? But it's not about that. It's just about his general demeanor and how loved he is and how supported he is. That's what I've learned. That took a long time.
That takes such a long time. And I love hearing this, because it's so empowering. Because I remember my daughter be like, Mom, you haven't seen my dance concert. And it would just be so hard to juggle the whole thing, because I'd be stuck in New York or Hong Kong or wherever I was. And I'd send my friends to go and support her.
Yeah, I've sent friends to do things. I mean, sometimes some kids at the school thought my mum was Justice's mum, because she was so present for me. I don't have the luxury of, I'm a solo income woman, this is my survival, and that's my priority, is for my child to have the best life possible. And in order to do that, I have to fucking work.
And do you sometimes feel judged by that? Judged by others?
Yeah. You know what? I felt that a lot in the earlier years. I felt confused. I felt conflicted. I don't now. I don't now, because I know I've achieved what I've wanted to. My son has a great education, a roof over his head. He's got a beautiful extended family. I just know, and now sometimes I know there are other mothers out there, or whatever the judgment is, how hard it is on the other side too, but how much they also wish they could do that as well. You know, the grass seems to be greener, and then you actually work out the grass is greener where you put your energy. So for me, it's my energy's in the right place.
I love this. So you're now in your power zone. So many people,
Yeah.
like you are, it's so completely clear. You've gone through the journey. You've taken ownership of who you are. What do you do to keep your mindset switched on to that A game every day? Because you get up and you give it your all. Like, what is your routine that really just drives the growth, not only personally, but professionally?
I'm starting to really be aligned with my own values, my own rules to life, that is not the noise of others. And for a long time, I took on everyone else's noise, everyone else's expectations. I could make everyone else, or appease everyone else, except didn't know what I stood for. Now I know. And the most important thing for me is to keep that alignment, to keep in my body, and to stay connected to my gut. And the decisions that I make from there can make things happen like this. When the decisions come from my head that are trying to balance out pros and cons of everyone else's noise, the confusion is so great. But when it's here and it's gut, it's done. It might be uncomfortable, it might be hard to deliver, but that truth, when it's aligned, is a no-brainer.
I love it, because it's clear to me that you're now attracting a whole new high vibration because you're in that power.
Yeah, but I just really know what I want. I know what makes me happy. And I think for a long time I confused what makes Justice happy or what makes my parents happy. That will make me happy. And that's, sorry, love you, mum, dad, Justice, but it's bullshit, because it's their life. That's their story. That's not my story. They're part of my story, but they're not my story. So what makes me happy? What's going to make me calm, secure in my body? And they're the decision. They're the things I'm evaluating at the moment. My life's quite chaotic, and I feel like at the moment, despite the chaos and the shit going on around us, I'm quite calm. I feel I'm connected to the ground. I'm connected again physically. And I know it sounds really weird. It's not just like the new house, but this house, I've created the space and the energy in it. I've renovated. I've made it mine. Sorry, I should say ours, because it's got Justice in there too. But it's not someone else's, or it's mine, and it gives me, that nesting part gives me great strength to still be me.
So it's like the eagle has landed. And my next question is around, well, it is, because spirituality, and you've never really spoken about this before. How do you tap into that energy?
Look, I've been brought up on astrology my whole life. My mother is very much in that world, and I'm very much, I react to energy, be it people's vibrations, whatever. I can read energies in a room. I can feel it, and they actually take over me. And then how you use that energy and cultivate that energy for something great. And when you're in your heart space and you're aware of that, it's even more powerful than any other skill set I've ever had.
There's so many women in business, and so many successful women in business have trusted their intuition, which is something that you have done by every single career move that you've made. But also more and more, they're tapping into that spiritual side to make really powerful decisions and attract what they deserve. So we often talk about following the signs. And I always say, you know what? What's meant for you will always come for you. And what's meant for someone else will
never
always
pass you by.
It's such a beautiful, beautiful quote and saying. And so when did you realize that letting go was a powerful tool in business and life?
It's hard in business because there are things you've got to, you've got to learn from mistakes. So you do have to like look at that. But my thing is never be about the problem or the obstacle, and be about the solution. And there's always a solution. I'll get around any problem. And I think that's parallel to be excited what's about to unfold. So here's a problem, but the opportunity is this. Let's go do it this way. And if it doesn't work that way, let's go this way. So you're always moving. I don't think you should ever be static. You're definitely not going backwards. You should never go backwards. Don't look backwards, but fresh lens, and look, you're just on the move. Be on the move, because that energy creates new energy.
I love this. And so the power of letting go. If you were going to give someone a tip right now where they have a challenge, but it needs to be translated into a possibility and they have to let go, what is the most powerful tool that you have learnt that you can share with others?
I think it's all about acceptance. It's your mindset. It's nothing other than that. And it's like, yes, letting go, but your mindset to go, okay, that's the challenge, that's the problem. Okay, I'm okay with that. How am I going to tackle it this way? Like, it's more just like people can harp on, oh, but this is the problem. Forget the problem. The answer is in the solution to the problem. You know, like you kind of need the problem to find a new opportunity, a new path, a new revenue stream, a new product, a new this, a new that. If we didn't have problems, we wouldn't progress.
Perfect. That's such a great way of looking at it. If we didn't have problems, we wouldn't progress. And that's so true, because
we wouldn't learn.
That's the way you up level in life. So what's next for you?
We need to just get back into gear with the States. That's a big opportunity for us. That requires, I think, a whole nother presence, a new strategy. You know, it's been an interesting time with the world in a kind of standstill. So we've had a lot of time to reflect. We've had a lot of time to iron out all the seams of the business, and now it's working. It's a well-oiled machine back here. It's ready to go. And so now it's back to being in the front and being visionary and moving forward again. You know, I think it's exciting. I feel a bit excited.
And how are you still igniting all of those relationships that you invested globally in during the early years?
Look, I have to say that's probably some of that has slidden, by the wayside. But I do know that, social media is the number one key for just tapping in again, just like letting little reminders that you're there, you're still there. I just got to get over there. I got to feel it anyway. I love to feel it, and that's where the energy comes from as well. Physically.
When are you feeling that everything's going to start taking off globally again for everyone, not just for P.E Nation?
I think but next year I think we should be well on our way to living life again.
Do you know what the thing is about you, Pip? Is it's so interesting that when you were talking about you can read people's energy and you can read the room, because I've always had that gift as well. People are drawn to that energy of you. And so
yes.
Now it's about getting the right energy to propel the business forward and to really just be in that power zone. And I just wanted to ask one last question around, why did you choose to share your story with Powerful Stories?
Because I respect you, and you're a powerful story, and women that understand the journey, respect the hustle, and are proud and encourage more. I would share my story with you every day of the week. It doesn't fall on deaf ears, and it's encouraging, and it makes me reflect on it too in such a beautiful, nostalgic way, because sometimes you can get bogged down, like you said, in the judgment and in the noise, and there's more of that cancel culture out there than anything else at the moment. So thank you for your platform. Thank you for wanting to hear the story, and thank you for thank you for creating a space where it can be heard.
Oh, well, thank you. You know what? I always say that the women that you meet along the highway of life, and you watch them evolve and grow, and they go through these game-changing moments, and then they get back up again, and then they fly. It's such a pleasure, because you are flying. You have great global impact. And thank you for being so raw and authentic with us today.
Always. Thank you, Tori.